afternoon, all participants. A warm welcome to you all for the online interactive session to get an insight into cyber and IT operations in defense. As you are aware, the technology transformation is taking place in a big way, and armed forces in no way are left behind. So the use of cutting-edge technology to imbibe newer concepts from defense in depth to zero trust principles, armed forces have always stayed ahead of the curve, and they have ensured stringent measures to safeguard the defense network. So in this online session, we have 4 officers, 2 from Navy and 1 each from Army and the Air Force. So without wasting too much of time, I'll get on to the discussion mode. First, let me introduce myself. I am Commander Murali Dhar from the Indian Navy, and we have Captain SR Singh from the Indian Navy. We have Colonel Rana from Indian Army and Wing Commander Sanjeevani from the Air Force. So, sir, without going further, I would straight away ask the question from Captain SR Singh, sir. So, as you're already aware that the IT operations and cyber defense operations, how do you feel that they are different from the corporate world to the defense? So, probably your opinion on this will help us in terms of understanding that how we see these 2 different networks in terms of the cyber operations and IT operations.
Murali, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this thing. You see, there is fallacy which we have about the corporate and the armed forces being extremely different from each other.
Sure.
Does not actually it does not actually work in the field of cybersecurity.
Sure.
The basic principles of cybersecurity, defense, and like you mentioned, and the basic things, they still say the same, the corporate and the armed forces. But
Sure.
the basic principles, practices do not change. For example, most of our policies are already based on ISO 27001. So
Right,
is there in the industry. So
Sure.
we don't, you may call it something else, corporate may call it something else, but the basic principles have to remain the same because nothing in cybersecurity changes.
Got it, sir.
Now, the major difference which I see is that a large part of corporate works on the internet,
Sure.
and the armed forces work on air-gapped or
Captive
more
network.
correctly, captive network.
Sure.
So, but otherwise, the processes, having a DMZ,
Sure.
segregating parts of the network using firewalls, all that remains the same.
Principles of defense, both in terms of the corporate and probably an armed forces network, remain same, wherein the concept of defense in depth, the concept of zero trust principles, or probably the client security, the database security, the network security. So put in all together, these things remains more or less same as compared when we compare both the networks of a corporate or a defense, sir.
Absolutely. In operations, there may be differences of the way corporates work vis-a-vis the armed forces.
Sir.
But in cybersecurity, this is my understanding. I've been speaking to a lot of people about this.
Sir.
The fundamentals stay the same.
Got it, sir. Sir, with regard to the software development, as we say that software development is one of the, one second field in which armed forces have taken a big leap now, wherein automation of all processes have already started, and many applications are being designed and developed in the armed forces to automate the process, probably to increase the efficiency. So my next question to you, to Colonel Rana, sir, is that, so how do you feel that, how different is, or probably how similar is software development in terms of armed forces, and what all challenges do you foresee that, yes, we have faced across in your tenure as part of the software development, sir?
Yeah, thanks Murali, and thanks for the lovely panel we have here.
Sir.
Now, the saying is that generally all the processes, all the SOPs are, the army has taught, or the defense forces has taught the corporate world, like in logistics or any other financial sector also. Most of our practices have been taken over and improved and implemented in corporate world.
Sir.
In the case of software development, we have actually learned a lot from the corporate world,
Sir.
whether it is the erstwhile waterfall method, or
Sir.
maybe later on moving toward the SDLC, and now coming down to many other working frameworks.
Sir.
Largely, and I'll be very specific about it, since
Sir.
we have been dealing with the software development for quite a long time.
Sir.
We have realized that the user requirements,
Sir.
which are specific to our arms and services. There are many arms and services for the benefit of the listeners of this panel.
Sir.
That we have many arms and services, and they have got different requirements.
Sir.
So the challenge faced in the real world or the corporate world, as we call it, when we are trying to freeze the user requirements,
Right,
we
sir.
are not able to come to a time frame.
Got it,
Here
sir.
in armored forces, we have taken help not only from companies like TCS, Wipro, and others to
Sir.
learn their valuable lessons and implement it our software development lifecycle.
Sir.
We have something called a Directorate General of Information System, which rolls out pan-army wide ERP solutions.
Right,
Now, as far as the strengths are concerned, from our point of view, definitely we have worked hard on freezing the user requirement.
sir.
Different kind of data are there. We have worked very hard on data integration.
Sir.
And lastly, with the legacy software, how to get it integrated and make them interoperable, whether
Right.
to use middleware or get it converted,
Sure.
that we have been able to achieve. But largely so, this has been achieved with the help of companies like TCS,
Sure.
Wipro, Infosys,
Sure.
and I may take liberty to say that a kind of GCC has been developed in armored forces to
Sure.
develop such solutions. So
Sure.
we are, I will say, in parlance with whatever is happening outside,
Got it, sir.
and more to do with, I'll say, taking care of the stakeholders' requirements.
Right, sir. I think you have given a very good insight, sir. But the point which you mentioned about the URS nows, the freezing of the URS has always been a gray area, sir. Be it, I don't know how far corporate faces this challenge now, but probably I think with the way we have moved from the waterfall model to the agile scrum, and now to probably I think the CI/CD pipelines which we do it, wherein we follow the DevOps to DevSecOps now. In that way, yes, I also feel, sir, that the user requirement specification, both in terms of armed forces as well as from the corporate, probably is more or less a challenge now, wherein the way we design and develop, or the philosophy which we follow, probably decides now that how the whether the user requirement specifications are actually frozen, or probably it is an evolving kind of a thing wherein the evolution is continuous now, and changes would keep happening. What do you feel like, sir?
So, Murali, a very valid point, and I take this opportunity again to, reconsolidate our teachings in armored forces.
Sir.
See, human behavior doesn't change whether he is in armored forces or in corporate world, right?
Sir.
So the desire to get more out of a particular requirement is always there.
Sir.
And as the leadership sees from the vision documents from above, as we call it, the
Sir.
top view,
Sir.
we do understand that these are hurdles to,
Sir.
I'll say, long time delays in the software development.
Sir.
So, as you rightly brought out, whether it is agile framework or Scrum or whatever,
Sir.
we try to freeze this requirement based on the needs and benefit based model.
Got it, sir.
So, whenever we are defining in our process of things,
Sir.
users are told that your needs A, B, C, D needs to be prioritized.
Got
And
it.
thereafter, based on the feedback, we
Sir.
do freeze the requirement. And
Sir.
yes, there are certain revisions, or
Sir.
I will say versions of the software which
Sir.
are rolled out later on, definitely satisfying the user or the stakeholder, or so to say in corporate terms, the
Sir.
customers which we have in different arms and services.
Sir.
And definitely we try to, the complete frozen thing is not done, but yes,
Sir.
we do achieve somewhere around 80 to 90% freezing of the requirements, and later
Got
on
it.
rolling out of the versions.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that, sir. And now, coming to basically, sir, if we see the complete networks the audit per se of the networks and the IT assets is again an important aspect probably which we have to look into. That is the one which tells us about the security posture of any network now. So as of now, the audits per se, if I ask Wing Commander Sanjeevani about it, if I remember, there's a two schools of thoughts about audits, about how to whether to go ahead with the manual process or probably to automate the audits now. Because being armed forces having more of the manpower with them available, manual audits is something which has been in a say like it has been favored more kind of a thing now then. So Sanjeevani, coming to you, how do you see that audits are important and what is your opinion in terms of going ahead with audits in terms of manual approach or probably an automated approach? What do you feel about it? If you could share your opinion about it.
Thank you so much, Murali sir, for giving me this opportunity. In my opinion, in today's digital era, be it corporate or armed forces, the going for computer and infrastructure audit has become a need of an hour.
Okay.
Because the audit process itself comes with lots of benefits, where it, like you said, it tells us about the organization's posture towards tackling the various attack vectors.
Okay.
So the benefits include identification of risk, managing the risk, enhancing operational efficiency, improving data integrity by checking whether the controls are in place or not, and
Okay.
thereby checking for the compliances, whether the organization is compliant, and thereby giving the stakeholders the necessary confidence.
Okay.
Yes, the organization is ready and it can continue its operations very well.
Okay.
So audit itself is a continuous improvement. So for any organization, it tells us about that yes, the organization is determined and is committed to the excellence.
Okay.
Now, talking about the whether we should go for the manual audits or the automated audits, manual audits definitely brings us the insights. However, it comes with very different challenges like
Yes.
the
It's manpower
inaccuracies,
intensive.
the inconsistencies, the manpower constraint, the
Okay.
skilled manpower is not available vis-a-vis the IT environments are scaling.
Yes.
So I believe bringing into the automation in this process is going to enhance the overall efficiency of the audit.
Okay.
Because we will be able to carry out real-time audits, real-time threat identification and the response to it.
Done.
And scalability factor also will be addressed. So I believe that the automated audit are going to give us a major boost
Okay.
to achieve that efficiency and effectiveness.